The sky above New York darkened as the massive ships entered Earth's atmosphere. They were huge, like floating cities made of metal, blocking out the sun as they descended. People on the streets stopped and stared up in fear and wonder. No one had seen anything like this before. Lisa Morgan was drinking coffee in her apartment when the emergency alert buzzed on her phone. As captain of Earth's newest warship, the USS Harbinger, she knew what few others did, that humanity had been preparing for this day. She quickly put on her uniform and rushed to the military headquarters. The aliens called themselves the Galactic Empire. They had ships bigger than Earth's largest cities and weapons that could destroy continents. They arrived without warning, positioning their fleet in orbit around Earth. Their message was simple: "We come to welcome you into the galactic community." At the United Nations in New York, world leaders gathered in an emergency session. The alien ambassador Zarthal stood over 7 feet tall with pale blue skin and 4 arms. He looked down at the human leaders with eyes that seemed both ancient and cold. "Your species has achieved basic space travel," Zarthal said in perfect English. "It is time for you to join the Empire. We offer protection and guidance." President Allison Carter of the United Earth government stood up. She was a small woman but had a strong voice. "We thank you for your offer, Ambassador. Earth is honored by your visit, but we must discuss the terms of this arrangement." Zarthal smiled, showing teeth that looked like polished pearls. "Of course. All new species need time to understand their place. Let me show you what the Empire offers." A hologram appeared in the center of the UN chamber. It showed thousands of worlds, all part of the Empire. The gathered leaders watched in awe as images of amazing alien cities and technologies flashed before them. "Over 10,000 worlds benefit from our protection," Zarthal continued. "We ask only for reasonable tribute and obedience to imperial law. Your planet has resources we need. You have water, minerals, and biological diversity. In exchange, we offer technology and knowledge." President Carter kept her face calm, though her hands were tight fists at her sides. "And if we wish to remain independent?" The ambassador's smile disappeared. "Independence is an illusion for primitive worlds. Your defenses—" He waved one of his 4 hands dismissively at the ceiling, indicating Earth's orbital platforms. "We scanned your military capabilities upon arrival. Your weapons could not damage even one of our smallest ships." The room fell silent. On screens around the chamber, people could see the alien ships hovering over major cities worldwide. Each ship was larger than most skyscrapers. "We will give you 7 Earth days to consider our generous offer," Zarthal said. "We are not unreasonable. We understand this is a big change for your people." After the meeting, Admiral Eric Thompson met with President Carter and 5 other world leaders in a secure underground room. Thompson was a tall man with gray hair and serious eyes. He had led Earth's space defense program for 15 years. "They're lying," Thompson said once the doors were sealed. "This isn't a diplomatic mission, it's the first step of conquest. We've intercepted communications between their ships. They plan to take Earth by force if we don't surrender." President Carter looked grim. "What are our options?" "The ambassador wasn't wrong about our visible defenses." Admiral Thompson smiled slightly. "Visible is the key word, Madam President. Project Harbinger was completed last month, ahead of schedule." He pressed a button, and a hologram appeared showing a sleek black ship unlike any Earth vessel previously revealed. It was smaller than the alien ships but looked fast and deadly. "The USS Harbinger," Thompson explained. "Built in our secret facility on the far side of the moon. It has technology that the aliens don't know we possess. We've been studying signals from deep space for decades. Some of our scientists made breakthroughs the Empire doesn't expect." Vice Admiral Daniel Green spoke up. "The aliens think we're defenseless because that's what we wanted them to see. We kept the Harbinger and its technology hidden." Dr. Olivia Winters, chief scientist of the project, stepped forward. She was a woman in her 50s with short brown hair and intelligent eyes. "The Harbinger has weapons based on principles the Empire hasn't mastered. Our gravity manipulation technology is decades ahead of theirs. We also have a drive system that will surprise them." President Carter looked at the ship with hope in her eyes. One ship against their fleet? Sometimes you only need one punch to win a fight, Admiral Thompson said. If we can show them we're not as helpless as they think, they might reconsider their approach. Across the city in a secure military facility, Captain Lisa Morgan stood at attention before Admiral Thompson. She had been called from training exercises without explanation. Captain Morgan, the Admiral said, you've been selected to command the USS Harbinger on its first real mission. Lisa was surprised but kept her face professional. She was 35 years old, with short blonde hair and a record of excellence in the Space Force. Sir, I thought the Harbinger was still in testing. There's no more time for tests, Thompson said, showing her images of the alien fleet. The Galactic Empire thinks we're primitive and defenseless. Your job is to show them they're wrong. Lisa studied the mission details, her mind racing. The plan was both simple and incredibly risky. The Harbinger would leave Earth under the guise of a diplomatic mission, then demonstrate its advanced capabilities to an Imperial border fleet. You'll be outnumbered 50-1, Admiral Thompson said, but you won't need to fight them all. Just show them what one Earth ship can do, then get out safely. My crew, sir? Lisa asked. The best we have. Your tactical officer, Lieutenant John Perry, graduated top of his class. Chief Engineer Sam Russell helped design the ship's core systems. Communications Officer Kate Wilson speaks 17 Earth languages and has studied the Empire's common tongue. Later that night, as Lisa prepared for the mission, she stood at the window of her apartment looking up at the alien ships visible in the night sky. The weight of responsibility settled on her shoulders. The future of Earth might depend on what she and her crew did in the coming days. The next morning, the USS Harbinger's crew gathered at the lunar facility. The ship gleamed under the lights of the hangar bay, its black hull absorbing the light. It was beautiful and deadly, humanity's best hope. Our mission is simple, Lisa told her crew as they prepared to board. We deliver a message to the Empire. The message is, Earth will not surrender. As they entered the ship, Engineer Russell whispered, they're expecting primitive humans in a primitive ship. Lisa smiled. Then we'll just have to exceed their expectations. The USS Harbinger left Earth's orbit silently. No announcements, no public farewell. To any watching eyes, it appeared to be just another diplomatic shuttle heading toward the Galactic Empire's command ship. Lisa Morgan sat in the captain's chair, her back straight, her mind focused on the mission ahead. How long until we clear the moon's orbit, she asked. Lieutenant John Perry checked his screen. He was a young man with serious eyes and steady hands. 3 minutes, Captain. Lisa nodded. Once we're clear, activate the shield cloak. We don't want the Empire tracking our actual capabilities yet. The Harbinger moved smoothly through space. Unlike the bulky Empire ships, it was sleek and dark, designed to blend with the darkness of space. Its true power remained hidden beneath its modest exterior. Captain, we're being hailed by the Empire's flagship, said Communications Officer Kate Wilson. Her fingers moved quickly over her console as she intercepted the signal. Tell them we're a diplomatic vessel heading to discuss terms, Lisa replied. Use their formal protocols. Let's play the part of the humble humans for now. Kate nodded and sent the message. The Empire ship responded immediately, giving them clearance to approach. They believed the humans were coming to negotiate surrender terms. Once the Harbinger passed the moon, Chief Engineer Sam Russell looked up from his station. Permission to activate the drive, Captain? Lisa took a deep breath. This was it. Once they revealed even a fraction of their capabilities, there was no going back. Activate the gravity fold drive, Mr. Russell. Let's show them what humans can do. Sam pressed a sequence of buttons on his console. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the stars outside the viewports blurred. The Harbinger shot forward, at impossible speed, leaving Earth's solar system in seconds rather than months. The crew felt no change in gravity or momentum, thanks to the ship's advanced inertial dampeners, another human invention the Empire thought impossible for primitive species. Drive performing at optimal levels, Sam reported with pride in his voice. We'll reach the Imperial border fleet in 4 hours instead of 6 weeks. Lisa allowed, herself a small smile. Good. Now let's prepare our little demonstration. For the next 4 hours, the crew reviewed their mission. The Harbinger carried weapons that no human ship had publicly displayed before. Their main advantage was the gravity manipulation system, which could disable enemy ships without destroying them. Remember, Lisa told her crew during their final briefing, we're not starting a war, we're preventing one. Show them enough to make them reconsider, but not enough to reveal all our capabilities. At the edge of Empire space, Commander Drelvox stood on the bridge of his battlecruiser. He was a high-ranking Imperial officer with gray skin and sharp features. His fleet of 20 warships patrolled this sector, the first line of defense for the Empire's outer territories. Sir, sensors detect an approaching vessel, one of his officers reported. It appears to be from Earth. Drelvox laughed. So they sent an envoy to negotiate. Wise choice. He straightened his uniform. Prepare to receive them. Have guards ready to escort them to the meeting chamber. The officer looked confused. Sir, there's something strange. Our sensors indicate the vessel will arrive in minutes, but Earth ships don't have that capability. Impossible, Drelvox said. Their technology is centuries behind ours. Check your readings again. Before the officer could respond, a small black ship appeared on their screens. It had somehow traveled faster than any Earth vessel should be able to move. On the Harbinger, Lisa stood as they approached the Imperial fleet. Standard orbit, Lieutenant Perry. Let them get a good look at us. Aye, Captain. They've surrounded us with 20 ships. All weapons locked on our position. Lisa nodded calmly. Open a channel, Officer Wilson. Kate pressed several buttons. Channel open, Captain. Lisa spoke clearly, her voice carrying the authority of Earth, despite being vastly outnumbered. Imperial, Fleet. This is Captain Lisa Morgan of the USS Harbinger. We come with a message from Earth. Commander Drelvox appeared on the main screen. His expression showed surprise mixed with amusement. Captain Morgan, your arrival is unexpected, and your method of travel, interesting. Have you come to discuss Earth's surrender? Lisa met his gaze. No, Commander. We've come to discuss fair and equal relations between our civilizations. Earth will not surrender. Drelvox laughed. Bold words from a primitive species with one small ship. Perhaps you don't understand your situation. You are surrounded by 20 Imperial warships, each capable of destroying your vessel with a single shot. We understand perfectly, Lisa replied. And we've come to demonstrate why threats against Earth would be unwise. With your permission, we'll provide a small demonstration of Earth's actual capabilities. The Imperial commander's amusement grew. By all means, Captain. Show us these capabilities. Lisa nodded to Lieutenant Perry. Target the weapon systems on the 3 nearest vessels. Gravitational pulse only. Perry's fingers flew over his console. Targets locked, Captain. Fire. The Harbinger emitted no visible beam or projectile. There was no explosion, no dramatic light show. Instead, invisible waves of concentrated gravitational force struck the 3 Imperial ships. Their weapon systems immediately went offline as the carefully calibrated pulses disrupted their power distribution networks. On the screen, Drelvox's smug expression vanished as reports flooded in from the affected ships. What have you done? He demanded. A simple demonstration, Lisa answered calmly. We've temporarily disabled your weapons systems using technology your scientists said was impossible for humans to develop. The effect is temporary and harmless. The Imperial commander's face darkened with anger. This is an act of war. No, Lisa said firmly. This is a diplomatic message. If Earth were primitive and defenseless, we would have no choice but to accept your terms. But we are not defenseless. We prefer peace, Commander, but we will not be conquered. Before Drelvox could respond, 2 more Imperial ships moved into attack position. They're charging weapons, Captain, Lieutenant Perry reported. Lisa nodded. Activate countermeasures, then prepare for tactical retreat. The approaching Imperial ships fired energy beams at the Harbinger. The beams should have vaporized the Earth ship instantly. Instead, they dispersed harmlessly against an invisible shield. Our turn, Lisa said. Mr. Perry, one more demonstration. Target their engines. Minimal force. The Harbinger fired again, this time with a visible pulse of blue energy. The two attacking ships suddenly lost power to their engines, drifting helplessly in space. As you can see, Commander, Lisa continued, we could have destroyed your ships but chose not to. Earth wants peace, not war. Drelvox was no longer amused. You will not leave this sector alive. The remaining Imperial ships began to move into attack formation. I believe our demonstration is complete, Lisa said to her crew. Mr. Russell, activate the drive. The Harbinger's engines glowed briefly, then the ship simply vanished from the Imperial fleet's sensors. When they detected it again, it was already at the edge of the system, moving at impossible speed. Commander Drelvox stared at the empty space where the Earthship had been. For the first time in his long military career, he felt genuine concern. The humans were not what the Empire had believed them to be. This changed everything. On the Harbinger, Lisa watched the stars blur as they raced away from the Imperial fleet. Their message had been delivered. Now they needed to prepare for what would come next. Set course for Outpost 7, she ordered. We have more demonstrations to make before returning to Earth. The small human warship disappeared into deep space, leaving behind an Imperial fleet in disarray and a commander rushing to alert the Empire that they had seriously underestimated humanity. The news of the Harbinger's encounter with the Imperial border fleet spread quickly through the Empire's command structure. On the Imperial capital world of Zentrix, Grand Admiral Zevnar paced in his private chamber. His tall, thin body moved, with barely controlled anger as he reviewed the reports for the third time. Impossible, he muttered. The humans were a primitive species. Their planet had only achieved basic space travel. How could they possess technology that rivaled or even surpassed Imperial science in some areas? An aide entered the room and bowed. Grand Admiral, the Emperor requests your presence. Zevnar straightened his uniform and followed the aide to the Grand Meeting Hall. The Emperor sat on a floating throne, his 6 eyes blinking slowly as the Admiral approached. Explain how one human ship embarrassed our fleet, the Emperor said, his voice cold. Zevnar bowed deeply. Your Majesty, we believe the humans have been hiding their true technological capabilities. The ship they sent used advanced gravity manipulation and an unknown form of faster-than-light travel. I don't care how they did it, the Emperor replied. I care that they made us look weak. Fix this mistake, Admiral. Show these humans the true power of the Empire. Yes, Your Majesty. Zevnar bowed again. I have already ordered our main battle fleet to prepare. We will send 500 ships to Earth. They will learn respect. Back on Earth, President Allison Carter addressed the United Nations. Screens around the world showed her image as she spoke about the encounter with the Imperial fleet. The USS Harbinger has successfully completed the first phase of its mission, she announced. We have shown the Galactic Empire that Earth will not be easily conquered, but we must prepare for their response. They will not take this challenge lightly. In the secure command center beneath the United Nations building, Admiral Eric Thompson watched the orbital scans. The Imperial ships still hovered above Earth's major cities, but they had pulled back slightly, maintaining a higher orbit than before. They're being more cautious, he said to Vice Admiral Green. They're reassessing what they know about us. That was the plan, Green replied. But what happens when they send their real fleet? The Harbinger is impressive, but it's just one ship, Thompson smiled slightly. One visible ship. He pressed a button on his console, revealing a secure feed from a hidden lunar facility. 2 more warships, similar to the Harbinger but still under construction, appeared on the screen. The Defiant and the Valiant, Thompson said. 3 weeks, from completion. Not enough to fight their armada, but enough to make them think twice. Meanwhile, the Harbinger continued its mission, appearing briefly at Imperial outposts throughout nearby star systems. Captain Lisa Morgan studied the star map in her ready room, planning their next move. A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. Enter, she called. Chief Science Officer Ella Johnson walked in, holding a datapad. She was a brilliant scientist with dark skin and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Captain, I've been analyzing the data we collected during our encounters with the Imperial ships, she said. I've discovered something interesting about our drive system. Lisa looked up. What is it? The gravity fold drive doesn't just move us through space, Ella explained. It also acts as a sensor. The way it interacts with space-time allows us to detect energy signatures over vast distances. We can essentially spy on Imperial fleet movements without being anywhere near them. Lisa's eyes widened slightly. That's valuable information. Can you configure the sensors to focus on their communications? Already working on it, Ella nodded. But there's something else. We detected unusual energy readings from 3 of their outposts. They appear to be gathering a large fleet. I believe they're preparing a major response to our demonstration. Lisa stood up. How much time do we have? Based on their typical deployment patterns, 2 weeks at most. On the Imperial intelligence ship orbiting Mars, Agent Paul Martinez moved carefully through the secure data center. To all appearances, he was Commander Kelvor, an Imperial officer with 20 years of service. In reality, he was a human spy who had infiltrated the Empire 5 years earlier. Using his security clearance, Paul accessed the classified communications network. What he found confirmed his worst fears. The Empire was assembling its main battle fleet, 500 ships strong, to teach humanity a lesson. He quickly encrypted the data and sent it through a hidden channel back to Earth. His message was simple. The hammer is falling. Prepare. Admiral Thompson received the message during an emergency meeting with Earth's Defense Council. He shared the information immediately. Our intelligence confirms the Empire is sending their main battle fleet, he said. They'll arrive in approximately 2 weeks. Can we evacuate our cities? Asked the Chinese representative. Evacuate to where? Thompson replied. This isn't a regional conflict. It's planetary. Our best defense is to continue with our current strategy. Make them believe we're stronger than we actually are. President Carter looked tired but determined. The Harbinger needs to continue its mission. Every Imperial ship they encounter needs to believe we have technology that can neutralize their advantages. There's more, Thompson added. Our spy in Imperial headquarters has learned that they don't believe we developed this technology on our own. They think we must have help from one of their rival powers. That's good, said the Russian representative. Let them waste time looking for allies we don't have. On the Harbinger, Lisa received new orders from Earth Command. The ship was to continue its hit-and-run demonstrations, but avoid direct conflict with major Imperial forces. We're implementing the next phase, Admiral Thompson told her via secure channel. Operation Phantom Fleet. Lisa listened carefully as Thompson explained the plan. Earth's scientists had developed advanced holographic technology that could project convincing images of duplicate warships. The Harbinger would use this technology to make the Empire believe Earth had not one but many advanced warships. The projections won't hold up in actual combat, Thompson warned, but they'll confuse their sensors and make them think twice about how many ships we actually have. Engineer Sam Russell worked with his team to install the holographic projectors on the Harbinger's hull. This is crazy, he muttered to Lisa as they tested the system. We're bluffing our way against an empire of 10,000 worlds. Lisa watched as the projectors created perfect images of 3 ships identical to the Harbinger. Sometimes the best weapon is making your enemy doubt what they know, she replied. For the next week, the Harbinger continued its mission with renewed purpose. Each time it appeared at an Imperial outpost or supply line, it seemed to be accompanied by other Earth ships. The Imperial commanders reported seeing multiple human warships appearing and disappearing at will throughout their territory. The Empire began pulling forces from other borders to deal with the human threat, creating tension with other alien civilizations that saw an opportunity in the Empire's distraction. On Earth, Admiral Thompson used the time bought by the Harbinger's campaign to accelerate production of the Defiant and Valiant. Workers in the lunar facility operated around the clock, racing to complete the ships before the Imperial fleet arrived. In the depths of Imperial space, Grand Admiral Zevnar watched the reports of human ship sightings with growing frustration. Something wasn't adding up. How could a primitive planet suddenly have a fleet of advanced warships? There had to be an explanation. "Find me answers," he ordered his intelligence chief. "Or find me a new strategy. The Emperor will not tolerate another embarrassment." The USS Harbinger hid among the ice rings of a gas giant at the edge of Imperial space. Captain Lisa Morgan looked tired. Her crew had been running continuous operations for 2 weeks, appearing at Imperial outposts, showing their strength, and disappearing before the Empire could respond. "Status report," Lisa said to her bridge crew. Lieutenant John Perry checked his tactical display. "All systems functioning, Captain. Our fuel reserves are at 62%. The holographic projectors are working perfectly." Lisa nodded. The holographic technology had proven more effective than anyone expected. Imperial commanders were reporting sightings of Earth ships throughout their territory. The confusion was growing. "Captain," Communications Officer Kate Wilson called. "Incoming message from Earth Command. Admiral Thompson wants to speak with you." "Put him through to my ready room," Lisa ordered, standing up. "Lieutenant Perry, you have the bridge." In her small office, Lisa activated the secure channel. "Admiral," Thompson's face appeared on the screen. "Captain Morgan, how is the Harbinger holding up?" he asked. "The ship is performing well, Admiral. But the crew is tired. We've been running at high alert for 2 weeks straight." Thompson nodded. "I understand. Your efforts have been invaluable. The Empire is confused and unsure about our true capabilities. But now we need to execute the next phase of our plan." He explained the new mission. The Empire had assembled their main battle fleet at their central military base in the Arcturus system. 500 ships were preparing to jump to Earth. The Harbinger would need to infiltrate the base and gather detailed intelligence. "This is higher risk than your previous missions," Thompson warned. "But we need to know their exact plans and capabilities." "Understood, sir," Lisa replied. "We'll move out immediately." After the call ended, Lisa gathered her senior officers to explain the mission. They would use the Harbinger's stealth systems to approach the Imperial military base undetected, then deploy sensor drones to gather intelligence. "This is our most dangerous mission yet," Lisa told them. "But the information we gather could save Earth." Engineer Sam Russell spoke up. "Captain, I've been working on an improvement to our holographic system. We can now project not just images of our ship, but false sensor readings as well." "How would that help us?" Lisa asked. "We could create a diversion," Sam explained. "Project multiple false signatures to draw their attention while we slip in close to their base." Chief Science Officer Ella Johnson nodded in agreement. It could work. Their sensors aren't calibrated to distinguish between our real ship and the holographic projections. Lisa considered the plan. "Make it happen. We leave in 6 hours." Meanwhile on Earth, Science Director Ryan Clark worked with his team at the Special Projects Division. They were running final tests on the 2 new warships, the Defiant and the Valiant. "The gravity drives are stable," reported engineer Michelle Foster. She specialized in the holographic projection technology that had been so crucial to their strategy. "But the weapon systems on the Valiant are still at 80% capacity." Ryan nodded. "Keep working. We need both ships ready within 5 days." In orbit above Earth, the Imperial ships maintained their positions. Ambassador Zarthal was growing frustrated. His superiors demanded updates, but the humans were being surprisingly difficult to read. President Carter had requested more time for consultation with Earth's nations, but Zarthal suspected they were stalling. On the Imperial capital world, Grand Admiral Zevnar reviewed the latest intelligence reports. Human ships had been spotted in 12 different sectors simultaneously. It was impossible. Even the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy couldn't be in so many places at once. "They must have help," he told his advisors. "No primitive species develops this technology so quickly on their own." One advisor suggested, "Perhaps they're using some form of holographic technology to create the illusion of multiple ships." Zevnar considered this. Possible. But their main ship, this Harbinger, has displayed capabilities that are very real. Prepare a special team to capture it. I want that ship and its technology. In the Arcturus system, the Imperial battle fleet gathered. Huge warships, each capable of destroying an entire city, formed into attack squadrons. At the center of the fleet was the Dreadnought, the Empire's most powerful warship. It was 20 times larger than any human vessel and carried weapons that could crack a planet's crust. Unknown to the Empire, Imperial Fleet Commander Ben Rodriguez watched the preparations with growing concern. Like Paul Martinez, he was actually a human spy embedded deep within the Imperial military. His real name was Alan Baker, and he had been undercover for 7 years. Ben carefully documented the fleet's capabilities and battle plans. The Empire planned to arrive at Earth in overwhelming force, demanding immediate surrender. If refused, they would destroy one major city as a demonstration, then wait 24 hours before destroying another. When Ben had gathered enough information, he encrypted it and sent it through channels only Earth intelligence would know to check. The message had to get through. Earth needed to be prepared. The Harbinger approached the Arcturus system cautiously. They used the gravity of nearby planets to mask their approach, moving slowly to avoid detection. "Activate the holographic projectors," Lisa ordered as they neared the outer defense perimeter. Engineer Sam Russell pressed a sequence of buttons on his console. Immediately, the system projected what appeared to be a small merchant convoy on Imperial sensors. At the same time, 5 false Harbinger signatures appeared in another sector of the system. "Imperial communications indicate they've detected the decoys," Kate reported, listening to their channels. "They're dispatching ships to investigate." Lisa nodded. "Perfect. Take us in closer to the main fleet. Passive sensors only." The Harbinger slipped past the outer defenses, its true signature hidden by advanced stealth technology. As they approached the gathering fleet, the crew stared in shock at the sheer number of warships. "There must be 500 ships," Lieutenant Perry whispered. "Each one larger than anything Earth has ever built." Lisa kept her face calm despite the fear she felt inside. "Deploy the sensor drones. Let's get what we came for." The Harbinger released tiny, unmanned probes that scattered throughout the fleet, recording ship types, weapon systems, and communications. For 3 hours, they gathered critical intelligence while remaining hidden at the edge of the fleet's formation. "Captain," Kate suddenly called out, "they're changing formation. Something's happening." On the main screen, the Imperial ships began to move into attack positions. At the center, the massive dreadnought powered up its main engines. "They're preparing to depart," Lisa realized. "They're heading for Earth sooner than we expected." "All drones have reported back except number 7, Ella reported. Lisa made a quick decision. "We can't wait. Recall the remaining drones and prepare for emergency jump. We need to warn Earth." As the Harbinger prepared to leave, an Imperial patrol ship changed course unexpectedly, heading directly toward their position. "They've spotted us," Lieutenant Perry warned. "Evasive maneuvers," Lisa ordered. "Sam, give me everything the engines have got." The Harbinger turned sharply, accelerating away from the patrol ship. But the sudden movement caught the attention of other nearby Imperial vessels. "3 more ships on intercept course," Perry reported, his voice tense. Lisa gripped the arms of her captain's chair. "Deploy countermeasures and prepare the gravity weapons. We'll have to fight our way out." The Harbinger fired its weapons, disabling the nearest Imperial ship. But more were closing in. "Jump drive charging," Sam called from engineering. 30 seconds to jump capability." An Imperial energy beam struck the Harbinger's shields, causing the ship to shudder violently. "Shields at 60%, Perry reported. 20 seconds to jump," Sam counted down. Another hit rocked the ship. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. 10 seconds. Lisa watched as the Imperial ships surrounded them, weapons charged and ready to fire. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Jump. The stars blurred, and the Harbinger vanished from the Arcturus system, leaving the Imperial fleet behind. But they had taken damage, and the Empire now knew they had been spying on their main fleet. The race to save Earth had begun. The USS Harbinger limped back toward Earth, systems damaged from its narrow escape. In the engine room, Sam Russell and his team worked non-stop to repair the gravity drive. Smoke still filled parts of the lower decks, and emergency lighting cast long shadows through the corridors. "How bad is it?" Lisa asked, entering engineering with concern on her face. Sam wiped sweat from his forehead. The main drive took a direct hit. We're operating at 40% capacity. It will take us 3 days to reach Earth at this speed. Lisa's expression darkened. The Imperial fleet will arrive in 4 days. That gives us barely enough time to warn Earth and prepare. Throughout the ship, the crew worked with quiet determination. They had seen the size of the Empire's battle fleet, 500 ships against Earth's limited defenses. The odds were overwhelming. On the bridge, Chief Science Officer Ella Johnson analyzed the data from their sensor drones. "Captain, you need to see this," she called as Lisa returned. The data showed detailed scans of the Empire's flagship, the Dreadnought. It was massive, with weapon systems far beyond anything they had encountered before. But Ella had found something interesting. Their main power core uses a similar principle to our gravity drive, she explained. But their design has a weakness. If we could get close enough to the Dreadnought, we might be able to disrupt their entire fleet's command structure. Lisa studied the data. "We'll pass this to Earth Command. Even with 3 ships, we'd need a perfect strategy to have any chance." 2 days later, the damaged Harbinger entered Earth's solar system. They were immediately hailed by Admiral Thompson from the lunar base. "Captain Morgan, we received your data transmission. The situation is critical," Thompson said. "The Defiant and Valiant are operational, but barely. We've rushed their completion." "Sir, the Imperial fleet is larger than we anticipated," Lisa reported. 500 ships, including their flagship Dreadnought. They plan to destroy major cities one by one if we don't surrender. Thompson nodded grimly. "We've called for a diplomatic meeting with Ambassador Zarthal. One last attempt at negotiation before they arrive. Dock at the lunar base for emergency repairs." At the United Nations on Earth, President Carter met with Ambassador Zarthal. The alien diplomat showed no sign of compromise. "Your pitiful demonstrations have only delayed the inevitable," Zarthal said. "Our main battle fleet approaches. Surrender now, and your people will be spared unnecessary suffering." President Carter remained calm. "We've shown that we have technology your empire didn't expect. We prefer peace, but we will defend ourselves if attacked." Zarthal laughed. "Your single warship and its clever tricks? Our fleet brings 500 vessels, including the Dreadnought. Nothing in your arsenal can stand against such power." "Perhaps," President Carter replied, "but we would rather fight for our freedom than live as slaves." On the lunar base, Lisa met with Admiral Thompson and the captains of the 2 new ships. Captain Alan Hayes of the Defiant and Captain Nina Collins of the Valiant were experienced officers, but their crews had minimal training on the new vessels. 3 ships against 500, Captain Hayes said, shaking his head. "Even with our advanced technology, those aren't good odds." "We don't need to defeat their entire fleet," Admiral Thompson explained. "Our intelligence suggests that if we can neutralize the Dreadnought, it will throw their command structure into chaos." He activated a holographic display showing a battle plan. "The Harbinger, Defiant, and Valiant will approach using our stealth technology. The Harbinger will create holographic decoys to draw away their defensive screen. The Defiant and Valiant will then target the Dreadnought's power core." Lisa studied the plan. "It's risky, but it might work. My ship's repairs will be complete in 12 hours. The Imperial fleet will arrive in 24, Thompson said. "We have one chance to get this right." While the 3 Earth ships prepared for battle, another meeting took place aboard the Imperial command ship approaching Earth. Grand Admiral Zevnar met with a human woman in an Imperial uniform. Laura Wright was his chief diplomat, assigned to handle the final surrender terms for Earth. "The humans are stubborn," Laura said. "They refuse to acknowledge our superiority despite the odds." Zevnar nodded. "Their resistance has been surprising, but it ends tomorrow. No planet has ever withstood the full might of an Imperial battle fleet." Laura kept her face neutral, hiding her true thoughts. Like Paul Martinez and Ben Rodriguez, she was actually a human operative. Her real name was Karen Mitchell, and she had been placed within the Empire through a complex operation years before anyone knew the aliens existed. "Perhaps," she suggested carefully, "we should offer more generous terms. The humans have shown unusual technological capabilities. They could be more valuable as allies than as subjects. Zevnar considered this. An interesting perspective. I will discuss it with the Emperor after we secure their surrender. Laura knew this was the best she could hope for. Her real mission was to delay any planetary bombardment long enough for Earth's defense plan to work. 20 hours later, the Imperial battle fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. 500 warships arranged in perfect formation advanced toward the blue planet. From the lunar base, Admiral Thompson watched on the command center's main screen. All ships, commence Operation Last Stand. The USS Harbinger, now repaired, led the Defiant and Valiant from the far side of the moon. All three ships activated their stealth systems, becoming nearly invisible to Imperial sensors. Activate holographic projectors, Lisa ordered from the Harbinger's bridge. Across the solar system, Imperial sensors suddenly detected what appeared to be 30 Earth warships emerging from behind Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. The holographic fleet looked real enough to draw the attention of half the Imperial forces. "They've taken the bait," Lisa said as Imperial ships broke formation to intercept the decoys. Phase 2, begin. The three real Earth ships approached the Imperial fleet from below, staying in the sensor shadow of the dreadnought itself. Captain Hayes of the Defiant and Captain Collins of the Valiant flanked the Harbinger as they closed in on their target. On the dreadnought's bridge, Grand Admiral Zevnar received confused reports from his fleet. Human ships appearing throughout the system. Impossible, focus on Earth. Prepare the main weapon for demonstration. Laura Wright stood nearby, watching and waiting for her moment. "Admiral, perhaps we should verify these reports before proceeding." Before Zevnar could respond, proximity alarms blared. "3 ships detected," an officer shouted. "They're right on top of us." The Harbinger, Defiant, and Valiant dropped their stealth fields simultaneously, appearing just beneath the massive dreadnought. All 3 Earth ships fired their gravity weapons directly at the points Ella had identified in the flagship's power core. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The dreadnought's lights flickered and died. Its massive engines shut down. Throughout the huge vessel, systems failed as the carefully targeted gravity pulses disrupted its power distribution network. "All ships target the human vessels," Zevnar ordered, but his communications were down. The command couldn't reach the rest of the fleet. On Earth, President Carter received the signal she had been waiting for. She immediately opened a channel to all Imperial ships. "Attention, Imperial fleet. Your flagship has been neutralized. Your command structure is compromised. We have now demonstrated that Earth cannot be conquered without devastating losses to your forces." As she spoke, the 3 Earth ships continued their attack, disabling key systems on the Imperial vessels nearest to the dreadnought. The confusion in the Imperial fleet grew as contradictory orders spread through their ranks. Laura Wright stepped forward on the dreadnought's bridge. "Grand Admiral, I recommend accepting their offer to negotiate. We've underestimated the humans at every turn." Zevnar looked at his darkened bridge, then at the view screen showing the 3 small Earth ships that had somehow crippled his flagship. "Open a channel to Earth." 1 week later, Captain Lisa Morgan stood in the United Nations chamber as President Carter signed a treaty with the Galactic Empire. The terms recognized Earth as a sovereign, independent world with protected status. The Empire would withdraw its forces and establish normal diplomatic relations. "This isn't the end," Admiral Thompson said quietly to Lisa as they watched. "The Empire won't forget this humiliation. They'll be back someday, better prepared." Lisa nodded. "And we'll be ready." The Harbinger was just the beginning. Outside the UN building, crowds cheered as the Imperial ships began departing Earth orbit. Humanity had stood against an overwhelming force and, through courage, ingenuity, and bluffing, had secured its independence. The USS Harbinger, docked at the orbital station above Earth, represented the beginning of a new era. One small ship had changed humanity's destiny among the stars,